a cancer survivor, a club promoter who works until 4 in the morning, a man who picked his case number because it was the last word his dying grandmother ever spoke. And in the middle of his game, in the middle of Deal or No Deal, an NBA player walked onto the stage and changed everything. This is Tony Combs, and this isn't just a game show episode. This is one of the most emotional, most inspiring, most unforgettable stories Deal or No Deal has ever told. And the ending? It's going to hit you right in the heart. Tony Combs is from Orlando, Florida. He's 31 years old. He's a club promoter who drags people into nightclubs until 4 in the morning, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. He's tired. He's been grinding for years. But that's not even the hardest part of Tony's story. Tony is a cancer survivor. He spent hours in chemotherapy chairs, watching his nails turn blue, locked in hospital rooms with nothing but a television screen to keep him going. And what did he watch during those 8-hour chemo sessions? Game shows. Deal or No Deal. The very show he's standing on right now. This man watched this game from a hospital bed while fighting for his life, dreaming about what it would be like to stand on that stage, pick a case, and hear how he asked the question. And now, against all odds, he is here, healthy, alive, cancer-free, and ready to play the game he watched through the darkest days of his life. And then there's his mum. Tony's mum is the kind of woman who opens her doors to everybody. She helped Tony fight through cancer. She's been his rock, his support system, his entire world. And when Howie asks Tony what he'd do with the money, he doesn't hesitate. Take care of my mum first, before anything else, before the dream nightclub he wants to open, before himself. Mom comes first, every penny. That is who Tony Combs is at his core. Not a club promoter, not a cancer patient, a son, a fighter. And tonight, everything he does on this stage, every case he opens, every offer he accepts or rejects is for her. He picks case number 7, and the reason why is going to give you chills. Tony's grandmother recently passed away, and before she died, the last thing she said, the very last word that came out of her mouth, was the number 7. Tony doesn't know why. Nobody knows why. But when it came time to pick a case on Deal or No Deal, there was only ever one number Tony was going to choose. Number 7, Grandma's number. And whatever is inside that case, Tony believes his grandmother is watching over him tonight. Whether you believe in signs or not, you have to admit, 2014, choosing the last number your grandmother ever spoke as your case on a game show for $1 million is one of the most powerful things any contestant has ever done on this show. First round, 6 cases to open, and Tony comes out with the energy of a man who has literally fought for his life and won. He's doing karate moves on stage, he's making the crowd laugh, he's hugging the models. He's a ball of pure charisma. He loses some medium amounts, but keeps 5 of the top 6 numbers alive, including the million. The banker, and here's a fun detail, the banker in this episode is a woman. She calls with her first offer, and Tony isn't impressed. No deal. He's a fighter, a mover, a shaker. He doesn't back down. Those are his words, and he means every single one of them. The rounds continue, and Tony keeps pushing forward with the kind of energy that only a man who has stared death in the face and beaten it can bring. He's losing some numbers along the way. The board isn't perfect, but the energy never drops. Not once. His mum is in the audience giving advice on every case. His uncle is shouting out numbers. His whole section is a wall of noise and love and unconditional support. And Tony is feeding off every single bit of it. But what's coming next? Nobody sees it coming. Not the audience. Not Howie. Not even Tony himself. Tony opens case 8, and the $1 million is gone. The biggest number on the board, the dream he's been chasing, vanished in a single moment. But here's why this game isn't over. $750,000 is still alive. $750,000 is still somewhere on that board, possibly sitting right there in case 7, Grandma's case. The dream has changed shape, but it's not dead. Not yet. The banker calls with $20,000, and normally that would be the whole offer. But this time, Howie tells Tony that the banker is sending something else out. The studio doors open, and walking onto the Deal or No Deal stage is Aaron Gordon, the Orlando Magic basketball player. Tony's jaw hits the floor. He's a massive basketball fan. He's from Orlando. The Magic are his team. And his hero just walked onto the set of his favorite game show during the biggest moment of his entire life. Stop and think about this for a second. You're a cancer survivor. You spent months watching watching this exact show from a hospital bed, dreaming of being on it someday. And now you're here, standing on this stage, and an NBA player is looking you in the eyes, telling you that you're an inspiration. This is the kind of moment that doesn't happen in real life, but it's happening right now for Tony Combs. Aaron Gordon tells Tony he gives everyone the courage to fight through difficult circumstances. And then the gifts start flowing: a basketball signed by the entire Orlando Magic roster, a private suite at a Magic game for Tony and all his friends, courtside seats, and the biggest gift of all, 100 tickets donated to children fighting cancer in Tony's name. 100 kids going through what Tony went through, getting to go to a game and forget about their treatment for one night because of Tony, because he showed up and fought. The total package is worth $27,500. And Tony, the club promoter who knows how to negotiate, does something bold. He makes a counteroffer. He tells the banker, "Give me $50,000 plus the Orlando Magic experience, and we have a deal." It's aggressive. It's confident. It's very Tony. But the banker says no. The counter is rejected. Tony has to keep playing. The Magic perks are gone, but the 100 cancer tickets? The Orlando Magic is donating those regardless, because some things are bigger than a game show, and giving 100 sick kids a night of joy and basketball is one of those things. Tony may have lost the negotiation, but those kids still won. 3 more cases to open. $750,000 is still alive. Tony needs to dodge it. He opens 2 cases safe, small amounts. The crowd is building, and then the last case, case 22. If 750 is in this case, the game is essentially over. Tony's mom is standing up, gripping the railing, praying. The whole studio is holding its breath. 1 penny, 1 penny. The case held a single penny, and $750,000 is still alive. The crowd absolutely loses it. Tony is jumping, his family is screaming, and his mum, the woman who fought through everything with him, is so overwhelmed with joy that she actually falls. She tumbles right there in the audience. The show had to stop production. They came back an entire week later to make sure she was okay before finishing the game. That is how intense this moment was. The emotion, the joy, the relief of watching her son survive cancer and now survive Deal or No Deal 2014. It was simply too much. So intense, it literally knocked his mother off her feet. A week later, they're back. Mum is fine. Tony is ready, and $750,000 is still on that board, waiting. The banker calls $48,000, the highest offer of the entire game, and Tony has to make the hardest decision of his life. He thinks about the club he wants to open, Club Motion. He thinks about his mum. He thinks about those chemotherapy sessions and those hours watching Deal or No Deal from a hospital bed. His arms are trembling. Now here's the question. Would you take $48,000 with $750 still alive on that board? Or would you keep pushing, knowing that one bad case sends everything crashing? You're a cancer survivor. Your mum literally fell from excitement last week. You've already had an NBA player walk on stage for you. What more do you need from this night? At what point do you say, 2014, I have been blessed enough for one lifetime. Let me take what is here and build something beautiful with it? What would you do? Tony's friend says, no deal. His mum says, no deal. But Tony looks at $48,000, real money, guaranteed money, money that can start the dream, and says something that surprises everyone. Deal. $48,000. The crowd cheers. His mum is crying. His friends are hugging him. He said it himself. I can go out there and make something of that. And he can. For a man who fought cancer from a hospital bed and dreamed of this moment, $48,000 isn't an ending. It is a beginning. It is the seed money for Club Motion. It is the first check that goes straight to his mum before he spends a single cent on himself. It is the reward for a man who refused to let cancer beat him and refused to let this game break him. And how he told him straight, Tony, you made a great deal. The numbers backed it up. Tony Combs didn't walk out with the million. He didn't walk out with $750, but he walked out with $48,000, an unforgettable memory, 100 children going to a basketball game in his name, and the knowledge that his grandmother's number 7 carried him every step of the way. Some stories on Deal or No Deal are about money. This one was about so much more. So here's what I want to know. Would you have taken the $48,000, or would you have kept going with $750 still on that board? And what about the counteroffer was asking for $50,000, a smart move? Or did it cost him the $27,500 that was already guaranteed? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. See you in the next one.